Going green is the motto of almost every corporation around the world. With the recent trauma of catastrophic natural disasters, ecological concern has sparked around the globe. Climate change has become the hot topic everywhere. Large corporations are under the microscope, evaluated on their responsibility in this crisis. Consumers are more concerned than ever on buying from green companies, leading to a race between corporations to outgreen their competition. Slow and steady is notorious for winning the race, but with corporate value on fast profit, the outbreak of greenwashing is overtaking the advertising industry. Painting a green veneer on consumer goods is far from a new marketing tactic. In 1992, the U.S. Federal Trade Commission issued its first green guide, aimed at squelching greenwashing long before greenwashing was a household word. Well-known names such as Herbal Essences, Toys R Us, Huggies, Fiji, Lay's, and Clorox have all been recently busted for greenwashing their products through false advertisement. And this leads us to the corporate greenwashing epidemic. The Greenwashing Index defines corporate greenwashing as a time when a company or organization spends more time and money claiming to be green through advertising and marketing than actually implementing business practices that minimize environmental impact. It's whitewashing, but with a green brush. Greenwashing is not a foreign concept, making its debut in the 1970s during the growth of the environmental protection movement. Since then, the intensity and frequency of greenwashing has fluctuated with the public and political mood of the times. This current outbreak of greenwashing is no different than earlier cycles, except that the stakes are higher as global warming looms. We live in a consumerist world, stalking us with constant brand advertising. Everywhere we go, we are surrounded by logos, brands, and corporate advertising in every form. You can conclude that over time, the consumer population has become very influenced by advertising. How does this affect our ability to determine the greenness of a product or corporation? Well, 77% of Americans said that a corporation's environmental reputation affects what they buy. In response to this consumer pattern, the corporate world goes to great lengths in marketing itself and its products as the greenest of the green. However, 84% regard corporate environmental crimes as more serious than insider trading or price fixing. But with the combination of limited public access to information and seemingly unlimited advertising, greenwashing is much harder for the average consumer to uncover. Let us evaluate the most widely distributed product on the planet, Coca-Cola. Generating more than $1 billion in sales per year, Coca-Cola has a massive presence around the globe. In 2016, Coca-Cola released a sustainability report on the heels of natural disasters around the globe, in hopes of addressing their stand on climate change prevention and environmental protection. Coca-Cola's massive production numbers and activity lead to the corporation greatly contributing to the world's greenhouse gas emissions. Coca-Cola is aware of their carbon footprint and released their sustainability plan as a plan to improve. But closely analyzing Coca-Cola practices, it is true that Coca-Cola is manipulating consumer audiences through corporate greenwashing tactics. Let us first look at Coca-Cola's revolutionary plant bottle. Unveiled in 2009 in response to findings of heavy greenhouse gas emissions in Coca-Cola's packaging system, the company released the plant bottle made from PET plastic, which is created from plant-based versus oil-based sources. PET plastic is said to reduce the carbon footprint and have a more gentle effect on the environment by its ability to be recycled. Coca-Cola reports that the innovative technology has resonated with consumers, boosted sales, and generated headlines. Analyzing this statement, it would be true to say that Coca-Cola was very focused on consumer expectation and response in its production of the plant bottle versus being environmentally focused. Coca-Cola bases its success of the plant bottle in recyclability. This, however, is largely mistaken. Plastic made from plants rather than oil is a great idea, just like transportation fuel made from corn is a great idea, on paper. But with corn ethanol, some of the environmental benefits of bioplastics gets lost in translation. The biggest downside to the use of bioplastics is its introduction to consumers with highly confusing marketing. In Coca-Cola's case, this includes the very name of the marketing material itself, plant bottle, as well as the overuse of green colors with the lack of concrete evidence to support its effectiveness. Core to the confusion is a major bifurcation among bioplastics. Some, such as Coca-Cola's PET plant bottle, are chemically identical to conventional plastic but use around 30% plant-based feedstocks. These are recyclable, which would be more encouraging if the PET recycling rate in the U.S. was higher than its paltry 25%. Due to the low percentage of PET recyclability, many plant products ultimately end up in the landfill, defeating the purpose of the plant bottle and Coca-Cola's goal of reducing the carbon footprint of the drink in your hand. Coca-Cola aimed its advertisement of the plant bottle to the consumer addiction to green products. However, Coca-Cola missed the true effectiveness of the plant bottle in reducing greenhouse gas emissions and thus misled consumer audiences through greenwashing tactics. Did you know that in 2008, polar bears were classified as an endangered species in the United States? When you think of polar bears in relation to a mascot, isn't Coca-Cola one of the first connections you make to the animal? Well, due to greenhouse gas emissions, in the fifth assessment of the International Panel on Climate Change, it was reported that in 50 to 70 years, polar bears will not be able to live and hunt on most of the sea ice they can access today. Given the threat of polar bear habitat extinction, it is rather ironic for a corporation such as Coca-Cola, known to emit large amounts of greenhouse gases, to be marketing such a mascot. The question of sustainability for the Coca-Cola polar bear has become an important topic for the corporation, and in response, the company partnered with the World Wildlife Fund to create a safe and sustainable home for polar bears in the threatened areas of the high Arctic. Partnering with the World Wildlife Fund, the world's leading conservation organization, Coca-Cola has helped to reach the $10 million goal, as well as contribute an additional $400,000 as a part of its $2 million commitment to the cause. Coca-Cola's $2 million commitment is merely pocket change for a billion-dollar grossing company. James Froude, a lecturer at Lancaster University, criticized and investigated Coca-Cola's effectiveness. He says the money given by Coca-Cola is not sufficient to ensure that polar bears, or for that matter people, will always have a place to call home. The World Wildlife Fund and Coca-Cola reportedly estimate that it will cost more than $10 million over the next 5 years to establish what they call the last ice area, a sustainable area as vast as 500,000 square miles to uphold the habitat needs of the polar bear, other ice-dependent species, and local people. Froude called upon Clive Tesser, the World Wildlife Fund's project lead in the effort, to find out how $10 million could achieve such an audacious goal. The simple answer, it cannot. Coca-Cola's efforts to reduce its greenhouse gas emissions by its failed production of the plant bottle was not enough to protect the threat of polar bear habitats, and the company's monetary aid is short of significant effort. Coca-Cola's intentions are to protect the environment in order to create a sustainable world meeting the modern expectations of consumers, but their actions are insignificant in environmental impact. The small investment in the polar bear protection movement compared to Coca-Cola's billion-dollar profit, and the production of plant bottle in relation to the actual effectiveness of the technology, the ratios of these actions are not equalized enough to result in true change. As you can see, Coca-Cola proved to be spending more time, money, and effort advertising its green image than actually making a call to change, proving that consumers must beware of the ever-growing epidemic of corporate greenwashing in today's world.